So why am I doing some inane singing? Very simple reason that one of my... Okay, so on Friday I was doing a stream and GT7 hung up, and this is Providence, okay? The universe was going, something was going to go wrong. So, you know, so my first bit of stream, my first attempt of stream on a Friday Frizzly Frazzly has been removed because apparently there's a copyright claim against me, and it's probably because Gran Turismo 7 plays inane shite, and it has this thing where you can choose, which I have now chosen, to go into broadcast mode. Thus, I do broadcast, though Friday was only because of Hugh Hatrick. Happy birthday, Hugh! 4,750,000 million years old. Elbows. Okay, so right at the beginning of a year ago, I got a PlayStation 4 as a birthday present from someone whose birthday it was. Happy birthday, Hugh! Not saying who it is. I don't want to embarrass them. Happy birthday, Hugh Hatrick, on your channel. So I won't say who they are. A year later, which occurred to me after it happened, I got a birthday present of a Gran Turismo 7. Happy birthday, Hugh Hatrick, from the borders of Scotland, the eastern borders, because if you don't know, or you're American and you think the British accent means Dick Van Dyke, for fuck's sake. You know, Britain, this is a massive island. By massive I mean the size of the island. Just saying. So you know, let's think of a famous Scottish person. Sean Connery has a British accent. Jimmy Connolly has a British accent. People from Cornwall have a British accent. Norfolk, West Country, Birmingham, Newcastle upon Tyne, all British accents. So when an idiot American goes, I'm doing the British accent, but what I have also learnt is that 99.99999% of America is not only not represented by Hollywood, they are not. Their understanding of the world isn't represented by Hollywood. You know, this idea that all Americans don't know anything about anything that goes on anywhere is also not true. It's not true. Americans are people. They have as much brain as anybody else, and many of them, whether they have a passport or not, know lots of things about many places. Anyway, point I'm making is this. Right when I started, I did some, because I felt like I should, I did some uploads and stuff. And the uploads were of me using my pad as a motion controller in a Subaru Impreza at Suzuka East, trying to improve my times, because I found the car impossible to drive. You hit the brakes and the back end goes, this kind of stuff, and I didn't have any skill or knowledge to know why this was happening. So I went about setting the car up, because I've been following motorsport for many years, driving for since 1988, wanting to drive since I was a little child. We're talking like 5 years old, okay? I was changing gears in cars and fiddling around, 5 years old. I thought, set it up. You set it up, you know. That's how you do it. You set a car up to your liking. You make the suspension better. You make the handling better. You make the gearing right. You know, you set it up. So this, one of the things I think this Gran Turismo 7 is okay at, is the consequence, fines! The consequence of normal engineering, you know? And I am, like Tina Fey, who I think is gorgeous, and would never want her to leave her husband. And even with the patronising Hollywoodness of her, I still think she's so good. Oh my god. There's nothing about her that's wrong. Maybe blue eyes, but if she was blue eyes, she'd be Anna Kendrick, just taller. Anyway, the point I'm saying is this. I really like the tuning side of the GT7. I don't like the money side of GT7. I don't like the way they've so cynically and obviously made it impossible for anybody to achieve any of the goals that they want. They've turned it's stopped being a racing simulator, even though the physics are supposedly improved, which I'm on the fence at the moment. That it's a game. It's now a game. GT Sport was trying to be a simulator but acting like a game. GT7 is more like a simulator but acting is more like a game but acting like a simulator. So Christian, do you want to come on? Do you want to do like a party? Do you want to talk to me? Do you want to do something? I'm on Gran Turismo 7. I have bought a bunch of stuff for a Citroën DS3, and I want to see what it does. I want to see what it does. So that's the explanation of what is happening. Let me know. Car settings, detailed settings. So this is the kind of stuff you can do. I like this screen. I kind of like this screen, though I'm not 100% happy with this measure thing. It's not. Yeah, sure. Okay, right. Bear with the blue screen of something. Not stop broadcasting. Don't do that. No. Party. Start a party. Open a party. Party has started. Great. Wonderful. But I'm the only one in the party. Let's try again. Let's try. Oh no, I don't want to leave the party. I want to invite members. Invite the members. So. Woo! I can hear your voice. You breathe heavily in my ear. I don't know whether you. That reminds me of a massive big cow coming up and going like that, or something really creepy. That's, oh my god. Okay, so I kind of have I just invited everybody that I'm friends with on this party by starting a party? Is it like an open party? Are we going to get, I don't know, some weirdo from Germany that makes what we're going to say, liveries, appearing and going, hello, I have a Harley Davidson with no suspension, but it has suspension because my western ass is soft and I need it. Is that what's going to happen? I'll let you put. Direct question. Go for it.
You don't have a specific German in mind there, do you?
German that does liveries. Phil! Oh! Do you know what? Phil would be great on this. Phil, have a look on PlayStation, get your microphone going, and let me know if you can see the party I've started and whether you can join it. So it's a double thing. A, join the party. B, let me know whether anybody can join the party. Oh my god! Hatrick! Am I free for a chat? It's his birthday today, Hugh Hatrick. I am streaming GT7, which he'll love. He'll love that.
You have to let him know what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I've got my PC version of WhatsApp up, which no longer needs your phone to be on. That's really clever. I like that. Now I'm seeing GT7. You can join the party chat with Vines, which is my friend Vines, who is also known as Chrissy, and also known, if you're really close to him, as I only do that because it makes him laugh. If you like. I love having chats with Hugh. Hugh is a very good friend of mine. I mean, I know he says that on his... That's my very good friend, but he's a genuinely very good friend. There's like 3 people in the world that I genuinely consider to be decent. Oh, I was reading a book. Okay, right. There's a book. I've had a couple of issues over the past 20 odd years by a politician's couple, depending on what so you can take that at which whether I'm underplaying it or overplaying it, whether I'm rounding it up, rounding it down. Me and Christian were doing this earlier on. He's one amazing stream. So DWP, look it up. DWP Racing, look it up. Vines Racing, look them up, because it's awesome and great. You know, lots of people know the famous streamers. They know this famous sim racing streamers and all this kind of stuff, and that's very good. They need nobody's help. I don't watch them, and the reason I don't watch them is because I'm not jealous. I'm not anything like that. I'm just bored. I'm a 52-year-old with a very short attention span who does not watch things I don't want to watch anymore. Yeah, and then, oh God, you get these people like Hatrick and this twerp that's talking on the line and breathing in my ear. And they do it like a race. And Matt, we want to big up Matt. TMK Racing 444. Look him up. You end up watching this stream, and Matt does. I'll come to you in a second, Christian. Matt does a set of course competizioni on PC and also on PlayStation, and he does Gran Turismo Sport and 7. You know, is it an all-round... And what's the rally game he plays? Is it...
Dirt Rally 2.0.
Dirt Rally 2.0.
WRC 10.
Right, and he loves those, and he's really good, and it's really hilarious because... Which one is the one that's got the nagging woman on it? Do you remember that?
Well,
Do you remember that there was a rally we were watching... where this woman, who was the co-driver... And I'll come to that again in a second. Okay, if anyone goes, "Oh, you're sexist."
That was WRC.
Right, and WRC, he's watching. Oh, Christian, apparently you're echoing. You're not in my ear, you're not, but...
I don't know.
Phil can't make it. That's real sad, because Phil's a great guy. I love Phil. That's right. I'll start with the game. No. Fuck it. People are going to have a go. I'll start with a woman. One of my closest friends for 10 years is a lady whose name I won't mention. She is the top female co-driver in the northwest region of rally driving in Britain. Genuinely. They drive a Peugeot 106. Her brother is the driver. She's a seriously good driver, though. Seriously good driver. And... she's had tragedy. Her dad was killed at a rally because she was in the rally, top of her class, when her dad, the massive accident. And these days it's not like the 80s with the Group B and all this kind of stuff where people just stand in the road in the way. Everyone's got to be in a particular spectator area. It's all very well managed in Britain, especially for the safety of the audience, you know, the people that turn up, which is completely right. Oh, bless, he was taking a video, and this car came off the track and went end over end, and I blame all the morons alongside him. They, instead of grabbing him and pulling him away, they just ran, and he's looking through the camera, so he doesn't see perspective, and he gets hit by the car. Can you imagine you in a rally and you get to a stage and someone comes up to you and tells you need to talk to you? Brother and sister, their vibrant, wonderful father had just been wiped out. Just, you know. So if anybody thinks that I'm some kind of sexist, misogynist moron that Yeah, I'll meet you in a car park and I'll beat the crap out of you. Honestly, I just will, because I'm emotive on this one. You know what I'm saying? But getting back to a lighter note. Every time he hit a rock, she didn't just tell him the corners. It was like, "What are you doing?" That's a bit rough.
Yeah.
What?
Like,
Who's being sexist? Go on.
just telling him he can't drive.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they talk about stereotypes. What about the stereotype of being a complete cow every time you go near, every time you do something they don't like, and it's like, oh, well, that's not sexist at all, is it? You know, painting a woman as someone that just whinges every time you do anything. I mean, come on, hellfire. But no. But then when someone says that, finds it funny, because comedy's meant to parody life, so we're all having a good laugh about this. And basically, it was just there's no bitterness. It's just funny that this woman was coming out with stuff like, and it was the way she said it as well, wasn't it? It wasn't just that she said it; it was how she said it. It's just incredible. So funny. And, Matt was doing a brilliant job. He was doing a superb job, mate. Honestly, it was so much better than anything I've done. Just hilarious. Just hilarious. So, right, what's happening on the screen right now is I bought a bunch of stuff. I have, because it's kind of cheap, for the Citroen DS3. The DS3 is the first one, and woohoo, la 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 la. The DS3 was the first one I bought racing equipment for, because I got past that level that you could get racing equipment, right? So I'm taking it back to totally standard as GT7 makes you buy it. The reason is, I'm on the track. I enjoyed this track. I did it on in an MX-5. I did it in an MX-5 using some tune-up stuff as one of the challenges, and it was a bit. I started noticing things like high speed. It gets very unstable. By high speed, anything above 115, 120, something like that. I'd already noticed things like under braking, standard suspension brings the rear round, which is why I was trying to alter the Subaru Impreza that I was using a year ago at Suzuka East, right? So this is kind of like a follow-on. It's my interest in tuning, my approach to tuning. I am a scientist, and I don't mean I'm a psychologist. I mean I'm a real scientist. Bear in mind that one of my closest friends for many years has a doctorate in clinical psychology, and I used to be her guinea pig, and she got a first. And so there's psychologists and there's psychologists. I was talking to Mr. Vines. Young Vines of the Vines variety, the other day about psychologists. Was I not? You've got a very good memory for these things. I'm becoming increasingly impressed with your ability. And can you remember the names of the psychologists I was recommending for you to look up? Can you? You're gonna totally spoil my big praise of you now, aren't you? Oh God, set him up to fail. Okay, the silence is telling me lots. Yeah, say something, whatever you like. Anything, I don't care. Just say something.
I don't know.
Fair enough. Right, there's two psychologists that I've got enormous respect for. One is a fella called Danny Kahneman. He's still alive, and he's written a book called Thinking Fast and Slow. Nobel Prize winner. And another fella. Why is it? I don't know if he's laughing or crying. Phil. Something. Yeah, fair enough. I'm the same. and the other one is called Amos Tversky, and he sadly died of cancer. But they were like a partnership for a long time. They were the kind of people there that were very different psychologically, so they had two very different approaches to their science. But they got on so well and trusted each other so well that they were able to meld those two things without it being an egotistical issue. You know, they got the best out of each other because their approach, their goal was the same, you know. And they're actually mathematicians, and they were in the early wars around Israel. Not making any comments about that. You got a lab in the basement. I've seen it. Yeah, that's true. And they were asked by the Israeli government at the time to try and find the right psychology of people to go into the Israeli army to be able to fight and win, because they had no people and nothing, and they were fighting for their survival. Okay, now, right or wrong, whatever the politics or the religion of that is, the idea of these two people, they both hated psychology because, like me, they thought it was kind of a play science. You know, it was, most people that go into psychology degrees, and I've met a lot of them in university, do it because they want to learn. They're trying to fix something about themselves, or they're trying to feel better. It's almost like they're a psychologist's dream to study, but they end up trying to become psychologists. It's like they're trying to cover their issues. Does that make any sense to you, Christian? Does that?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? It's like being a cyborg and studying human studies. You know, these guys were not that. These were humans studying human studies while hoping they were cyborgs. They didn't want to do it. So they really came up with some very good experiments to do lots of different things. Well, completely forgot what I was talking about. There was a reason why I went on to the psychologist, Amos Tversky. Oh yeah, a very, very close friend of mine. She is one of them. She's like a proper scientist. She's the cleverest person I've ever... No, the equally cleverest person I've ever met. And both of them were women. And I'm incredibly proud of both of them. And not jealous. I'm jealous of their ability, but I'm not jealous of them for being brilliant, you know. So this, you know, fuck off world, take your sexism, stick it up your arse, don't lube it first. That's what I'm saying. All this, that's amazing. It's like a half-hour rant based on me saying, look up Matt.
Yeah.
Oh my God. God, I'm good at this. I'm amazing. How do I do this? This is just astonishing. Oh, God. Ant was telling me, you got a gift for this, mate. You got a gift for this. You really need to pursue it. Christian was telling me some good news earlier. I mean, it's kind of... How much news is it? He was telling me something really good, which was wonderful. If I was egotistical, it would be an amazing massage of my ego. But it was more like... Shit, more people think I'm good at this and they want me to do it more. You know, it's like, what?
Someone who's never heard you before.
Well, you played me to them, so they had heard me before.
Oh yeah, but they've never heard you before that.
Hatrick! Woohoo! Bless. Oh, God. So, this friend of mine, the psychologist, the wonderful Judith, the wonderful, wonderful Judith, I was doing tests for her. She was doing a declin psi, and she needed someone to to practice the tests, right? This is relevant. So she's doing tests, and I can't remember what the hell she was going on about. We used to have these fantastic conversations, and she goes... She just starts shouting at me, Andrew, you're so autistic! And it's like... Thing is, I knew what she was talking. I grew up with autistic people. I grew up with a lot of people with lots of disabilities. So I had an interest anyway, and we'd spoken about autism all the time, and she was just frustrated. Now, okay, so I'm going to bring this into an arena that people can understand, right? I've started watching The Big Bang Theory. Didn't like it. Too much hype. Never liked hype. I've watched 8 episodes now of the first series. Christian, have you ever had this thing where you're watching something on telly and it's something, it's like a negative or a comedy thing where people are taking a pee, they're getting a laugh out of the ridiculousness of a behaviour or an attitude or something, and you totally recognise yourself in that person? Have you ever had that? That's a no. If you have to think about it. Yeah, if you have to think about it, it's a no. Well, in 8 episodes, I am constantly seeing myself in Sheldon Cooper. It's so frightening. He had a wallet in episode 8. I got to show this to Ant because I've told him already. You want me to drive a car? Oh, sod off. God. Right, all right. I've set everything up to be standard and normal in this very nice DS3. All right. He's got a wallet. He's complaining. He's got 8 slots for cards. Now, the thing is, I've had 2 wallets in the last 30 years. 2. Because I bought one, I found a wallet that actually did everything I needed it to do. And I did not change that wallet for 20-something years. 25 years. It was falling apart, but I could not find another wallet that did the same job. Sheldon Cooper saying, this isn't right. It's advertised on the internet. It had 8 slots for cards. Plus, and in addition, you know, this thing for an ID thing. And he was saying that this is they're lying because one of the slots for cards needs to be used for the ID thing. And it's like, and I'm looking at it and my heart's sinking. Because it's like, that's exactly what I'd say. It's got 8 slots for cards and an ID thing. That means it's got 8 slots for cards and another slot for the ID thing. You've got to be precise, right? Yeah? No? And of course they're all laughing because that's ridiculous. Everyone should just know. But nobody does know. Assumption is a stupid idea. Right, I'm going to do some bad driving. You tell me stuff. Oh, by the way, happy birthday, Hugh. Happy birthday to you. Squash tomato. Oh my God, this is bad. Squash tomatoes and stew. Bread and butter and butter. Saw a monkey like you. I do like the DS3, even though we all know it's the same as a Peugeot 208. It's 5,406 elbow years old. Oh my God, it doesn't like 145 mile an hour. God, it's faster than the M. Oh, here we go. He don't like that. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, Hatrick. We were talking about whether this is any good. Oh God, this red thing. It's annoying. Doesn't like turning. I don't normally use this angle because I'm doing it for the camera. Alright, it's a lot faster in a straight line. Oh my God. Don't like these corners. The handling's not actually that bad on this. I thought, oh, understeer. Understeer, understeer, arriba, understeer. Talk! I found a channel called the Authentic. Oh God, what is she? Authentic something. She's quite posh, but she's not from the south, and she makes a big point of being fed up with people who say that she's from the south because she's actually from Yorkshire. She's hilarious because my dad's from Yorkshire, and I've lived in Yorkshire, done my degree, first degree in Yorkshire. It's very interesting. This whole. She is very posh, sounding, and it's obvious that she's come from a very, very nicely middle-class family. She's not from South Yorkshire like this. Well, I'm from South. Oh, I don't like that. He tried to make me brake. Oh God, I hate the way it fishtails though. It's rear-wheel drive, for God's sake. Foot down. Right, this is where they've got the physics wrong. Foot down, rear-wheel drive. Sorry, front-wheel drive. It will pull the back into line. That's a fact, okay? You use power to come out of a corner. A short wheelbase, it should not, in any fashion, be setting up a resonance on the back. Okay, so that's bullshit, mate. Utter bullshit. Oh, too fast, too fast, too fast. But it's more controllable. So Hugh, is this what you were talking about? It's more realistic. Isn't there a way of you watching exactly what I'm doing, Christian?
Not while you're streaming.
Oh, but there is a normal way.
Yeah.
Like you get invited, so the streaming stops that. God, that's evil. It's just so shit. I suppose it's internet speed as well. Okay, so this is not about how bad my driving is. This is all about the setup of the car. This is a live stream version. Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm trying to... A live stream version of what I... Oh, no. Why did I try and turn the car? It really bites in. Oh, no, we didn't like that. Lift it off. Okay, lift it off. Lift off, and it stops the resonance on the back, which is not a tank slapper. Formula 1 morons. That's Hatrick.
Tank slapper without a tank.
Or handlebars to slap into it. Yes, indeed. Phil! God, I wish I was still 41. Oh my God, I remember being 41. It was great. I was on the way on getting rid of my horrible wife. No, it's 42 when I got the girlfriend. Okay. Can't believe 4 people are watching me. Are the multiplayer races changing every week? I don't know.
Yes, they are.
My in-ear expert says, yes, they are. Oh, this is good at going up those... Do you know what? I'm getting fed up with being in here. There you go, that's better. So I can see what I'm meant to be doing. So this is where the lack of precision comes in. Do you see how I was turning in and it overturned at the end of the straight? I'll do another lap. And then I will change something. So, I'm going to try and make this a lesson in tuning, as well as seeing what the tuning does, okay? I'm not going to apologise. Oh God, it's such tiny... I've got it on the lowest sensitivity, but the tiniest inputs. It's telling me that it doesn't like that. It's lying, because it liked it a lot. I didn't hit anything. I'm still at full speed. I'm 0.4 of a second up. Come on. Oh, didn't like that. Oh, I didn't hit it much. Nearly a second up. Ah, but losing speed on the straight, yes, of course. If you don't exit the corner properly. Back end's trying to go. I tell you what, the back end's not too bad on this. This is why I like this car. It's got a decent handling. You can stab the brake a bit. It understeers, but it doesn't try to kill you. That's very good. Look at that, 1.3, 1.4 seconds up. Okay, concentrate a bit more. Okay, right. This thing, you see people doing it all the time on Gran Turismo Sport. They steer too much. You can hear the tyres screaming 2 seconds up just by not steering too much. What I was trying to get across to Hugh once, before I even knew anything. That 130. So, I mean, look how much quicker that is just because I'm concentrating, even though I'm talking. Tiny movements, tiny movements. Back end's drifting. That's... Oh, okay, I hit that. No, 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 no. Boss Glenn, keep faced. Motherfucking shitbag. That's interesting. The way it reacted. That's very interesting. The way it reacted when I changed down, but I was over revving. That's different. I can't tell exactly how it was different, but it was more realistic. Except the engine didn't explode and come out the bonnet, you know. Other than that. Which I quite like, because I can't afford another engine. Oh god, it's going to make me pay for another engine. You can buy a new engine in this crap. Oh, Hatrick, that's...
to replace the engine in the Ford GT.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but you bought an expensive car. You're obviously rich. No wonder you're trying to keep me away from your mother. You're trying to keep me away from the millions. The millions! I am joking.
I wouldn't be still on a pad if I had that much.
Really? So you're not using a pad because, like Diaco, you prefer it? I mean, genuinely, Diaco's told me that he spent years and years playing all of the Gran Turismos, and therefore, okay, I'm trying to feathering the throttle. I'm not slowing down, but I'm just controlling the... Oh, that is awesome!
Yeah, the little time I've had on a wheel, I did prefer it.
God, yeah, me
I was
too.
obviously a lot slower because I wasn't used to it, but it was nicer to use.
See, that's
There was a lot of
weird.
expensive things like.
It's weird for someone of my age, because it's been 7 years, 2 days ago, the last time I drove a car. My anniversary. This sort of time of year is my anniversary. It's weird. It's Hugh's. It's Hugh's birthday. That okay? It's gone wrong now. Stuff this. No. It's Hugh's birthday, but it's also several other anniversaries, and one of them is the last time I drove a car. And oh, look at that. So 130,252. Remember that, everybody. Remember that. If I press the share button. Yes! Got a screenshot. Can't remember where they are, but I got one. Okay.
So I think in storage.
But I first physically drove a car at the end, sort of right at the beginning of 1988. And no, it was the end of 1987. It was a Mark 1 Cortina. Oh God, Cortina. Vauxhall Cavalier. Rear wheel drive. Have you heard of the Opel Manta, sir?
Yeah.
Right, the Opel Manta is the same chassis as the Mark 1 Cavalier. Because Opel bought, well, General Motors bought Opel and Vauxhall, and they sort of like mixed them together and all this kind of stuff. But it's basically the same car. 1.6, it was yellow, 4-speed. My roommate Gary owned it. Look at that, you can see it drifting. Oh God, you don't want to drift. No. So, and like anyone that's ever started to drive a car, I stalled it, kangarooed across his car park, stuff like that, right? But then I got my provisional license, and in 1988, my friend Gary started showing me how to drive, right? In an Austin Allegro Estate 1.5 Super Deluxe, 5, count them, 5 gears. He told me straight away, ignore that 5th one, you know, and he was right, because I had enough to contend with. And this is part of the sort of the process of, when I look back, looking at how your brain works. Because like riding a bike, while you're having to think about it, everything's harder. You can't do complex things with any given skill, whether it's guitar playing or drumming or oh God, you know, think of something. Playing a video game, not that they really kind of existed in those days, or driving, until it becomes automatic. It's hardwired into your brain, into your neural network, right? Muscle. It's not just muscle memory; it's also brain memory. You know, it's wired in. walking. You know, if you look at any child learning to walk or being a human being, when they're very, very young, lots and lots and lots of movements which are random. I don't know if this rings a bell with you, if you've seen any younger people, tiny humans. It's completely random. And then slowly, as time goes on, the movements become more precise and also restricted. So the random weird jerkings that goes on with a child they do more movements like reaching for something. And what it's happening is the neural network in the brain. I won't go down to the racetrack here. You know, I was a marshal there. I've driven past, and in fact, one of the closest calls in an accident I've ever had was driving past that place. An idiot pulled out of a drive. I missed him. And this is the process. This is the sort of you get strengthening of the firings of neural pathways, so they become more automatic. So as that becomes more automatic, you can then start using cognitive processes to deal with things like, is there traffic coming? Am I on the right side of the road? You know? Mm-hmm. So I've spent 50 odd years, no, that's not true, 30 years driving before I got this game. My Christmas present is only like 4 months old, so I've only spent the past 4 months using this wheel on the game, and I was using the same neural pathways to, how can I put it, do things that aren't normal road driving. So right, first thing we're going to change. Any questions, by the way?
None from me.
You're driving around, aren't you? You don't forget, you are the co-commentator here. Right, I've got, this is to show you this is the screen I like, though. This is the settings sheet. Now you can change all this like you can on the normal one, but you have to buy the bits before you can change anything. But when you change them, you can hit measure, which is the triangle button there, and it will show you how it changes the overall performance of the car. They've tried to sort of help morons with this performance points thing, which of course is a nonsense, because if you're on a twisty circuit or you're on a straight circuit, the performance is going to be completely different. So it's exactly the same, everything: suspension, chassis, weight. Oh no, that's the other thing I was going to do. I lightened it, didn't I? Oh, can you change that? You can't remove the lightning, can you? Of course you can't. Okay, so this is a lightened car, and again, for all the people watching, or who will ever watch, this is a lightened car. So this is not exactly the car you buy. All I'm going to change is I've put racing softs on. Now, if you look at that, I'll take this down here. You got this performance points here, 502.94. It's gone up to 586.87. Now that is a huge difference. That's a massive difference, that is. One of the early tasks you get given when you come on this game, which if you go back to Friday and watch my second video, you can't watch the first one, because as I was starting to explain earlier, something about it offended somebody musically, and so it's been removed with a copyright thing. Probably from the idiotic background music, possibly from me singing something. So that's a big difference. We're going to see how that goes. Mr. Vines, so that car is so much faster than the Mazda MX-5. They call it the Unos, which is weird because everywhere else in the world it's called the Miata. The very first car magazine I bought was at Mannheim train station in late 1989. I was missing reading something in English. I saw this car magazine. It was called Car. And at that time, it was the finest car magazine. It was the one that combined great writing with car stuff, you know? They ruined it later. And I bought it. And the very first big test was between the Mazda MX-5, a.k.a. the Miata, the brand new front-wheel drive Lotus Elan Turbo SE, the BMW Z1, and the TVR S4. And it was brilliant. And I would have any one of those cars. Any one of those cars. The fastest by a country mile was the Lotus. And that was the one that ended up becoming the least successful. The Mazda was completely copied. They'd got a Lotus Elan, Mark 1 Lotus Elan, and they'd gone, let's make a modern version of this. They even engineered a sort of a click in the gear change to emulate the Lotus. That's how cynical it was. But it is a seriously good car. Totally underpowered, but nobody cares. Right, so we have racing soft tyres. I didn't see the point of getting the hard ones. Get the best of what you can get.
Well, hard ones are less cheaper.
Yes, yes, yes. But this is a performance thing. Look how much extra grip we've got just going around that corner. Oh my Gideon, I could feel it. Oh, it's so much faster. So same top speed, same suspension, same dive under braking, same limitations for braking. Let's see if I can do this. This is going to knock off a second or two. Easily. The back end's not going. Oh my God! That is so much faster! Standard brakes. Oh, it's just so much faster. Right, I'm going to go and find the timing screen. Oh, back end's going down to braking because I was a little bit... This is why I did several laps at the beginning, so that it wasn't me learning the track or learning the car. I wanted to give it, you know, I want it to be parity. Whatever I learn from this point onwards is going to be tiny differences, you know, it's not going to be massive differences. Does it sound better? Why is it sounding better to me? That is really weird. Okay, it's telling me to brake, but even though I went washed wide, it didn't hit anything. Oh my Gideon, this is going to be so much faster. The 1 minute 30, wasn't it?
Yeah.
1:24.895. What the fuck? What the hell? It's just... Alright, so if you put racing slicks on compared with soft racing slicks compared with comfort soft, you will gain. Brakes are still crap, but oh, back end's gone there. Tried to turn in. That's my fault. But it even straightened up under acceleration, which is what I was talking about earlier. You should not get that resonance on the rear end. Ah, I'm talking dirty. I'm talking dirty. No, no. But even with the slide, it's more controllable. I'm still 7/10 up. What the hell is going on? With good tyres. So this is a 1.6 litre turbocharged engine, a modern direct injection turbo. I would get modern engines and put them in older cars with modern suspension. That's what I would do. That's what I want to do. Because modern engines, and when you get like, okay, direct comparison, a modern Fiesta 1 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged car, right? 125 horsepower, 130 odd, something like that. Is that correct? Back in when I was a young man, not a kid, we're talking legally able to drive, doing my degree in Huddersfield Polytechnic, a car I really liked was called the Daihatsu Charade GTTI, and it was a 1 litre 3-cylinder, 4 valves per cylinder, turbocharged motor with 100 horsepower. Oh, I got that corner. Okay, so this is faster because I got the corner right, not because of the car. But I got the corner right because I understood the handling of the car better. Oh, lost the load there. Trying to be more controlled. 100 horsepower, and it was considered, and 40 miles to the gallon, and it was considered to be a really seriously quick car. Tiny, you know, Mini is a tiny car, that little hatch. Now you're getting a Ford Fiesta weighing a ton more, and lots more safety features, all this kind of stuff, doing more to the gallon. They do over 50 to the gallon, with more power from the same size, same style engine, but with less turbo lag. You know, that's that's technology moving on. That's what I like. That's brilliant. God, so small movements. Oh, that is so quick. That is so much easier. Oh my God. Serenity, hello, my good, awesome friend. Back end, didn't like it, but he controlled it again. I didn't lose it. I lost time. I was 3/10 up until back end went. Oh, that's super. So let's be careful and go in. Do a Verstappen. Brake early, but carry more speed through. That's what he does. Oh, I lost a second on that bit. This is what I've got to learn. I've got to learn where you make the time up. So as you, Christian, I think you're a talented driver and you need to learn these things. I want to be able to see you pee all over people and you know, this whole like young and the youth thing isn't sort of a young people know games. It's what's called neuroplasticity. You know, the brain up until the age of 25 is much more changeable. It's much more able to accept change than older than that. It doesn't disappear. Oh, man. Oh, put that barrier there.
Well, so I was supposed to be racing for quite a big event today, but I got taken out.
Why? Do we know why?
In the qualifying heats, I got spun out, and if it wasn't for getting spun out, I would have qualified for it.
Right. Was this with DWP or something else?
This was E-Racing Association.
Oh, I saw them.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised because they've got commentators and lots of people in them. ACC, yeah?
Yeah, they do everything. ACC, iRacing, Gran Turismo.
And, but there was only like 370 subscribers on YouTube. That's kind of weird.
I think it's because they're bigger on things like Facebook and Twitch.
They're on Twitch, there we go. I'm on Twitch, but I very rarely go on it.
Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, and something else.
Yeah, I mean, Twitch is the big gaming platform, isn't it? Though I think YouTube rivals them in just general appeal, doesn't it?
Yeah, YouTube seems to be more. It's like people access YouTube more often.
Right. Okay, I'm going to pause there. My fastest time was actually my second lap because, and this is again the psychology of pushing. You know, I keep saying with Matt, you know, he says push it, and I say don't push. And I'm, you know, people think they know me. They think that I'm being silly. I'm not. Okay. The reason why people should recognise I'm not being silly is I keep talking about Jackie Stewart. I've met the guy. He's one of my racing heroes, and I've read his autobiography, and he was talking about a time where he there was like a Top Gear where they were making a big joke about the Captain Slow being Captain Slow, and they got this letter from somebody called Jackie, and they were doing this big thing about this woman called Jackie. It was Sir Jackie Stewart. And he had offered to teach Captain Slow to become quicker, and he did very successfully because The other person that people might have heard of who he taught how to become quicker was a young gentleman called Rubens Barrichello. I don't know if you've heard of him. This is a person that used to rival, in pure speed, used to rival Schumacher. But he was always fast, but he was kind of fragile and changeable. Jackie Stewart used to coach him. Now, F1 drivers don't get coached. The last time they get coached is when they're in karts, and after that it's like you're on your own, mate. Jackie Stewart coached him, and he coached him in this whole thing about, which is what me and somebody else was talking about the other day. I think it was yesterday. It was yesterday, wasn't it? Me and Matt were talking about me wanting to learn how to set a car up so that when you go into a corner, it is more able to do what you want it to do. Jackie Stewart was one of the early people that understood this concept. You see, you settle a car, you get it to rotate. It doesn't. Matt was completely right. It does not want to rotate. It wants to go in a straight line, and you can either set up the suspension for it to rotate or set up the suspension for it to go in a straight line. And the really good drivers are able to deal with it being the other way and getting the best out of it in the opposite way, if that makes any sense. You know, Schumacher, Jackie Stewart, Lewis Hamilton, Verstappen, Fangio, all these people are really well known, and Jim Clark, of course, or Senna, always really well known for being able to flatter the car they're in, to drive around the issues of the car they're in, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to do. That's what I want to be able to do. And setting the car up before you ever come to the corner, which is effectively the braking phase, so that when you turn into the corner, it finds it easier to turn and grip, is the real skill. Which is why when I get told you're braking too early, every single trace of Verstappen's driving, the current world champion, and even though it was all bullshit last year, the guy deserved to win based on his pure racing talent. Yeah. Okay,
just not how.
Just not how, exactly. He could have won without any of that crap, and he deserved to win without any of that crap. I was looking forward to him winning, frankly, without any of that crap. But it shows in your tyre wear, it shows in your fuel usage, it shows in everything that you set the car up. But every single trace of his braking is that he brakes earlier and then lifts off and carries more speed through every corner, whilst using less tyre wear and everything else. Hamilton's very similar as well. So the times, the reason I've stopped here is that my time. So I finally got myself together and got myself another 124.2. My original time was another 124.2. So that's what we got in with the really nice tyres. So, best time. Best possible time. I lost a second in every sector altogether, but I could have done a 123.2. So my worst time was a second slower. My best possible time could have been a second faster. So that's my talent. That's me. It's not the car. Yeah, I'm not watching that. Go. Stick it up your arse. Right, so we're going to change settings again. I am going to go back to the original tyres, because this is comfort soft. I'm not going to sport soft.
I mean, going off of like tyres and that, and based on how they're setting up for corners, we saw it earlier in the. I rewatched some of the replay of the DWP race earlier. And it's like where you had Diaco and Jack pushing really hard and like going into corners as hard as they could. And then you rewatched like Muggelino and the F-Type. The completely different driving styles, and tyre wear was just completely different.
And we can talk about this with some authority because we it's in GTS, so it was a lot better. Sorry, not a lot better. Oh God, you get a word in your head because you're just naturally chatting crap, and I actually want to say something specific, and then so that's not the word of it. It's not the word. It wasn't better. It's it's a car that I don't know about your experience of the F-Type, I have discovered that to be a much nicer, easier car to drive. It's kind of on me as a poor driver.
It's not unpredictable.
Yes, predictability and neutral is quite neutral as well. Yeah. Like, it's a powerful car, so of course if you plant the throttle, you're going to spin. If you go in too fast and you just crank the steering, you're going to slide straight on. Of course you are. But it is in the sort of the, the gag we was talking about the lack of precision and giving up on precision. Wish I had some precision. I want to get some precision. And it's interesting because doing that first corner, that first bend, in this track now, which we're going to do in a second, I've changed this. I've gone back to the soft tyre and I've changed to height adjustable sports suspension, which is my go-to as a sort of the cheap option to really improve the suspension. Obviously, it's not fully adjustable, but in terms of the amount you're spending in this game, if anybody's interested, go and do that. If you can uprate your brakes, if you can anything like that, do this first, because if you uprate your brakes, even with normal brakes, and you stamp on them hard, the back end, you get a massive weight transfer. Back end comes up and round.
In GT7 than it is
exactly.
So like with the Ford GT coming off the hairpin the other day.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, is this the final corner? The final corner?
Yeah.
Yes, we were commenting on that actually. That when you went in that, now you've got a big engine. It's not the biggest. It's only a V6, but still, it's mid-mounted. And I've known for 35 years. No, God, sorry, it was 1989 when I first bought that. So 33 years. I've known that mid-engine cars have this tendency for the back end to sort of come round, because the weight, that's the way the weight is. If you've got a front-engine car, the weight's planted in the front, so you get a less of a pendulum effect if the back end comes forward. 911, it's accentuated the other way because all the weight's at the back, so when it goes forwards, the weight pendulums round if you pull it a little bit further forward. Now, there's such a thing, especially these days, where they call it a front mid-engine. Anything where the weight of the engine is between the wheelbase is a mid-engined car. But you can have a front-engine rear-drive car where they've pulled the engine so far back it's within the wheelbase. But so the weight still is a little bit forward. I would probably prefer that, and that is where you're getting things like the Mercedes GT, the F-Type, this kind of stuff in racing circumstances. They're lowering the engine, they get a dry sump, and they pull it back, so it's within the wheelbase. So you get an easier turning moment when you're changing direction, but without a lot of the weight then swinging the back end round. But what you do get is understeer. So it's a give and take thing. We noticed that last thing, because it drops as well as turns hard. It's like having a big, swing coming out the back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Arkies! Oh my God, Arkies! We all love the world loves your videos. Arkies74. Check his channel out. Honestly, he deserves every single like, every single subscriber he gets. He puts so much brilliant effort into his videos, and they're so funny. Arkies has... Right, okay. I'll get to that in a second. Arkies is a creative gentleman and a hard worker. He's a musician and successful. He makes a living out of music. So he's someone that puts, when he applies himself to some creative work, he does it. And good evening, thanks, Ruth. No need to thank me, mate. Credit where credit's due. So Arkies, he does these brilliant videos. He does not think that his English is good enough, which I just think is ridiculous. It's Scandinavian, of course it is. Oh my God, are you from the Netherlands or are you Scandinavian? Oh, have I done that thing again? I'm so good at this. Christian, tell me. Is he
I have
from...
no idea.
What do you know? You should know. You're young. You should know things. Anyway, he's from places that don't speak English, except when they learn it in school. His English is excellent. Really good. So he does like text on the screen, which actually I think is like a fantastic touch. It's great. It's awesome. Danish, thank you. Scandinavian, yes! Right, this matters because as a Ma with a family from the northeast, my family history goes back to Norway, and also, you know, I'm basically, I'm a kind of a picked Viking. So it matters. Anyway, look up Arky's channel. It's called Arky74. And if you're in the chat, click on his thing, go to his channel. Just do it. It's really funny. And he also uses a pad. Right, what I've done here, I've gone back to Comfort Soft. I've changed to height adjustable sports suspension. I have lowered the suspension as far as it can go to give myself the best advantage, because what you want is you want soft suspension. That gives you the most grip. It's all to do with tyre squish and that kind of stuff. You want to be able to lean the suspension rather than put the pressure on the tyres. People think low profile tyres give you more grip. They don't. They give you less grip because you get less deflection of the tyre wall, you get less squish. So instead of it going through the tyre, it goes through losing grip and you're sliding, right? What you do get is sharper steering. So if you need a lot more control, low profile tyres, harder suspension, great. However, you will actually get less grip. So but lower body height lowers the moment, the centre of gravity. Lower the centre of gravity, better you can be. So I've kept the same distance, the same rake. They've been talking on Formula 1 about rake last year. Do you remember that? They were talking about high rake cars and low rake cars. I've kept the same rake. I've kept the same natural frequency, which is the overall hardness of the tyre. I have noticed that in these cars there is a difference front and rear, whereas in the Gran Turismo Sport ones there is generally not a difference. They're the only two things I can change. I will leave that for now, the actual natural frequency, leave it as it's set, and I will get back on the track and see how my time, and this is the thing I've noticed on this. Previously with the ranking board on time trials, you would get 1 time per day in a car, wouldn't you?
1 time per session. Like you'd have to leave and then rejoin.
Right, okay. As that, it doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So Arky's called this Ruse Tuning Rambles. This is just Ruse Rambles. I was saying, you've just joined, so Christian, can you remember what I went on about this being a year ago and with the Subaru? Can you remember all that kind of stuff?
When? From today or from?
From today, from earlier, when I was explaining why it's been a year since I got the game, and my first uploads were in the Subaru, and me changing the tuning of the car.
No.
Simon! Hello, Simon. Okay. I was going to ask you to go through that again while I did the driving, because I'm doing a lot of staring at a screen, not moving. Yeah, a year ago... Let's get in the car. Let's screw up. Let's screw up. Oh. When I was... It's Hatrick's birthday. Mr. Hatrick, insanely, because he's my friend, he's nuts, sent me a PlayStation 4 and also Gran Turismo Sport because he wanted me to do this stupid thing. Because he knew I didn't like sim racing, all that. Well, that didn't like, I wasn't bothered. I like proper racing, and I was his co-host. So that's kind of like the way it went. Oh wow, okay. Again. Oh, right, you can see the back end coming around? See the back end coming around? But the control I had on the steering there was so much better. So little dive. So, okay, fair enough, less grip, but so much more control. Oh, that is superb. So what I'm doing because as another birthday present, and because he's kind of nuts. Oh, look at that! There's no dive. There's no dive. Okay, there's no grip, but there's no dive. The idiot gave me a birthday present from him at his birthday of Gran Turismo 7. So I've done. Friday was me getting whatever licenses to get on multiplayer for a very specific reason. Wow, that was really. See, I've kept the hardness of the suspension, and look how I can control the car even though it's got less grip. So the very first laps I was doing was on normal standard suspension but with these tyres, and now I went to racing soft tyres as an experiment, 132. So a lot, not everything you're learning from this is in lap time, it's in the driving. So I'm able to control this. The back end goes because it's got no grip. Okay, I need to come off. I need to come off the throttle. This is not just trying how you get better lap time. It's like everything I do. How do you understand what's going on so you can do it better yourself? So I'm slower. Slower, but we'll see how this goes because I'm not coming off the track. Oh wow, see how much time I made up there. I made up over a second there just by getting that done. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing an instructional video, which I don't think anybody else is doing. I mean, I've been watching Super GT's videos, and as interesting as they are, and I've learned quite a lot from them, it's all very basic stuff, it's all non-nerdy stuff, you know. So I'm not in any way 132, so slower. Okay, no idea where I lost the time now, so I'll do that until 1 second. Because I nearly crashed. So if I lift up there, whoa! But easier to control. Don't you set up that resonance? What the hell? You see, this is ridiculous. I've got my foot down, foot to the floor. That makes no sense. Foot to the floor, right? And it sets up a resonance on the back. I don't see how that's right. Elbows hat-trick is close. I don't know. Do you know what? I don't even know why I'm doing this. He's 47. Trying to be funny about stuff. He's 47. Young man. Very young man. 6 years or 5.5. 5,000 years older than me. I do remember being 18 and I had no idea what 52 was like, or that it would ever happen. Okay. Can I improve on the 132.1? I'm not sure I can actually. Better. Consistent. It's all to do with that first turn. Tiny. Oh, look at the tiny movements. Tiny movements. I've not changed things like gearing or anything like that. This is all... What are you doing, Vikings?
I haven't done anything.
Oh, I can hear police cars in the background. They're after you. Oh, wow. This is so weird. I think I need to learn how to use brakes. This seems like wall riding, doesn't it? Hit the wall and you're still going faster than you were before. This is wall riding, right? That works. This is why damage needs to be on. Yep, I definitely need to learn. So sector 2, I'll up, alright, sector 1 is down. I want to know what I do on sector 1 to allow this drifting rear end. Oh, I'm going to go faster. Something right there. Fair enough. So the Citroen DS3 was originally based on things like, I think it's the Citroen C3, the PSA, the Peugeot Citroen Group, which is Peugeot now owns Vauxhall. Don't do it! Oh, giddy hand. Lifting off would make it crash. No, do me head in. No, that's doing me head in. I don't like that at all. So 1:31.7, my fastest time there. So slower than with the better tyres. So if you want to get lap time, get better tyres. I'm going to change. Like, this is one of these things where I'm going to have to sort of. Fastest time I can do is a 1:30.042. So that's very similar. Oh no, go away, get stuffed. Very similar. Okay. And just do a very quick one where I change the tyres. Are you okay, Mr. Christian?
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, no.
As long as you're happy. I don't mean about you driving. Duh. Now remember, everybody, this is not about my driving. And besides, just don't tell me I'm driving. Just don't. Unless you can demonstrate an understanding of the issues that I'm facing, and don't come out with stuff like, you need to take this line, you need to brake here, you need to do that. We had this big long conversation about neural networks earlier. Now I'm not overthinking, I just understand. I have spent 30 something years driving normal cars. So I'm in not comfort sports soft. Oh wow! It takes till the end of that. It takes till the end of that banking. I've got the better suspension. I don't see the point in changing that back. Right, for completeness, I will do that. But when I was doing my doctorate, we were introduced by a madwoman to a program called Minitab, and also bad, evil parts of statistics, which we used to call sadistics. Where you can target experimental investigations and use stats to see what the ones in between would be. And this is what most big companies, universities, good researchers would do. It does not replace good practice or a good sense of what you need. It does not do that. Okay, I've got 2 seconds on the comfort softs. I will get more now as I understand that this thing in the last part of this corner loses it, and it didn't this time because I lifted. Look at that, I've already gained 3, 4, 5 tenths. It's squirrely. Oh, more than a second. So, combination. So, oh my God. Actually, more than a second up on my last time. I want to do this time. I don't want to screw this up. Lost a bunch of time there. Get it back on the straight. No, I didn't get it. So I totally screwed that corner up. Lost 0.3 of a second almost immediately. The suspension is able to take that corner. Right, so I've got 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got over a second, so I would have got like a second and a half. It'll tell me 127.493. Okay. I'll do another lap, see if I can do something with this. Not necessarily say you have to. It lifted, feathered the throttle, didn't hit anything, up on time, enter. Yeah, tiny inputs. I would like this not to have as good a response. Oh yes. Oh, I lost 2 tenths there, but could have lost a lot more. Not big. So I'm using big inputs. Oh yes, don't go up there. See, I really hate that when I steer too much. So there's oversteer and there's oversteering. Have you got any words I can use? 126.9. Have you got any words I can use? 126.9 to describe the action of steering too much and therefore giving too much slip angle. I could have got a 126.5 as opposed to experiencing oversteer in a car.
Overturning?
Yeah, turning too much, overturning. I'm turning too much. I'm overturning. Yeah, okay. You know, because you've been instrumental in the forwarding of my commentary career. Plus, you're a good lad. That's good. I like that. Right, so what we've got here, the fastest time at the moment is on normal suspension. God. Normal suspension, but with racing soft tyres. That's a 124.2. Next time, 126.951 is on sports tyres, but with special suspension. Why is it disappearing? Why does it not just show it? I don't understand why it doesn't show it. The next time is on... What's the next time? The next time is on comfort. Come on. Why does it disappear, for God's sake? Seriously, just show the times. What do I want to look at some kind of wonderful graphics of something I don't care about? It's worse than Formula 1. Now, so the next time there, which I'll use, is 130.252, is using better suspension, using the adjustable suspension that we're using in so all the 1, 2 and 3 are all using the better suspension, okay, but with the worst tyres, comfort soft tyres. And then this is their sort of the baseline, number 4, 131.707. This is the best time I could get out of comfort soft tyres, standard suspension. However, all of these times, which I didn't realise because it's irreversible, are in a lightened car. So in your normal car
with a
you'd
few
get
power upgrades. I assume.
oh well, hold on, let me just check, because I thought I'd taken them off. I intended to take them off, certainly. So aerodynamics, supercharged. So no, normal turbo.
Have you done like the irreversible ones, like on the far right, like the engine tuning and?
No. I did bore it out though. Is that irreversible? Yes, I bored it out. So it's had a bore. It's 242 horsepower. So with the size of engine, so steering, clutch and flywheel are standard. Turbo's the normal turbo, no anti-lag, normal intercooler, normal air cleaner, normal silencer, normal exhaust manifold, normal brakes, normal pads, normal handbrake, brake balance. It's all standard. Yeah, so it's got a little bit more power and quite a lot less weight than the standard car. Now, this is where we're going to start. So I'm going to be skipping. I'm not going to be taking the suspension back to standard after this point, or the racing tyres. Okay, we're going to keep it as it is. Do a measure. So, the performance points from the last one was 556.24. The performance points now are 597.63. That's just by adding the soft tyres, soft racing tyres. Keeping the height adjustable sports suspension. I do have fully customizable suspension, but that is a lot more complex, so I don't want to get into that right now. When people are tired and they've gone to bed and people are already bored of the sound of my voice because no one's watching. But we're gonna do a lap. We're gonna do a lap. I need to just nip into the kitchen for a second. What I'll do is I'll press replay. I will play the replay of my last times, and you can see what I'm going to do is change. How do I change? Oh no, come on, man. Race info. All. Just what we've got there. So, will this allow me? So it's not letting me change the angle. So is that something that's changed with Gran Turismo 7? That it won't let me go on board? No, sorry. It's my fault. Yeah, what it is that I'm having to rejig in my head what buttons I need to press. I need to change the pad to what I like. Right, so what we're going to do, go back to the beginning. You watch this for a minute while I go and do a couple of chores in the house. Flat. Back in 5. Christian, do some talking. Don't have to, but you know, you wanted to be here. We co-commentated earlier tonight, and you have a lovely voice that reverberates and people say that. So are you watching now? Keep them. Tell them to like, subscribe and share, and send me some money. Or ham, mustard, cheese, lettuce, some other stuff, no fish sandwich with on proper rye bread with bits in it. 3, 2, 1, I'm gone. I can't believe you didn't say a thing. Oh my goodness. See, 3 people down to 1, that's all your fault. Right, enough of that nonsense. I don't understand how people really want to watch this kind of crap, honestly. That's why I insult my audience, because what the hell? So, these racing tyres and the race suspension take the capabilities of this car beyond the power of the engine. That's my take on it. because I could go around that last corner without having any skill. Let's do it on this one. Corner 1. This is like doing special stage X. Oh, turned a bit much. This is going to be so much faster. What are you actually playing, by the way, Christian?
I have on sport.
Oh, okay.
We can
Oh!
Christmas race.
Wow. It really does not like braking while turning. It doesn't really matter what's going on. Gran Turismo Sport does not like braking while turning. It's going to be so much faster. It's frightening. I like the way Gran Turismo 7 remembers your settings. On 21.8. I mean, that's like, what the hell? What's that? Really? Wow. That's just wow. Okay, so the suggestions Gran Turismo 7 gives you for the braking and all that kind of stuff. Uh-oh. Screwed that up. After doing the first corner so well. And that was directly because I could not multitask. I could not brake and steer and think at the same time. And that's what I'm talking about with the neural networks. When you're learning how to drive, everything that becomes automatic just frees up cognitive abilities that you need for not crashing and for driving well. You're learning how to drive, aren't you, Christian?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've physically driven a real car?
Yeah, I've got... Currently my test is in June.
Okay.
It's supposed to be March 1st.
Oh, that's normal. I was meant to pass my test in March, but then it got postponed. It was always the case where it was postponed, and then you did it a month later, and then you did it. So I did mine in April. No, so it was going to be in April, and I did it in May.
We've got there's a new instructor starting in Swindon in April. So
the home of Honda in the UK. And all retired people that buy Hondas. I keep screwing that corner up. If I can get that corner right, I can end up getting this faster. But it'll be more to do with me than the car. Representative time 1:20. Oh, see, but still you can't do big fat moves of the steering wheel and expect the car to just be able to take it. That is much better physics. That is much better car physics. If you do big, like stabs at the steering wheel, the back end goes because it's trying to change directions more than it's capable of doing. Still, the first lap was my fastest by a long way. I'm not trying so hard. Remember that, everybody. First lap, fastest because I'm not trying so hard. I'm not reaching for time. Right, let's see if I can do this one. Don't reach for the time. Turn. Lost. Oh, how long am I still losing time? Again, under braking. I matched it at least. trying less hard, I get faster. Okay, screwed up the very last bend, but I'm matching my first time. More to do with speed down the straight. Okay. Okay, that's very close. 13 thousandths of a second is not very much. Now remember everybody, this is on the best tyres with fully adjustable sports suspension, not crappy brakes, crappy pads, crappy discs, mildly tuned bored out engine. Okay, alright, that's how you do that. Up half a second by getting that corner correctly. Correctly? Yeah, correctly. Yeah, okay. So Brundle was always right. More time can be found in braking and in the slow corners than anywhere else. Wow, I lost a lot in that last corner. Bloody hell, I'm losing it all the way down the straight. So I'm faster, I do one more lap, and then it's another change. Just fighting that sort of feeling that... Oh, no, screwed that up. Yeah, big time. I'll get a lot of time under braking on this circuit. Bear in mind, I've lost a ton of time. No, get lost. Okay, so 1:21.7, fastest time I could get. Come on. 1:21.1, so I could have been like 0.6 faster. Okay. Here we go. Next change. So we are... Oh no, not change car. What the hell? Change settings. Detailed settings. Right, so we're keeping the tyres now. Keeping the suspension. What are we changing next? I've kept the fully customizable ECU. I could have got a lot less power if I'd have took that off, but it's pointless. That's just like sheer power down the straights. Trans, and I've also realised I've got the fully customizable racing gearbox. There is that one. That is the one. The fully customizable manual is the one that I tend to go for. Now, the next thing I'm going to change is the exhaust silencer. The reason I'm doing that is I want to hear what it sounds. You get 10 extra horsepower. This is not about time now. This is about sound. So it's going from normal silencer. I don't know if you can hear any difference at all. I can't. Frankly. Can you hear a difference? Not really. So that's from the normal silencer to the sports silencer. You get 10 more horsepower. I'll do 2 laps to see if what my times are. 10. Oh, it'd be interesting for me to think, what difference does 10 horsepower make? I'm not thinking very much. And it'll sound much better. I remember on a different car that the next exhaust up out of the 4 possibilities made a big difference in sound, and it sounded nicer. Must be difficult. Must be difficult balancing the need to do microtransactions and make money in the biggest industry on the planet. Because it's a bigger industry than the film industry, by the way. More games are sold than, more money's made in gaming than there's in films. In case anybody wondered. Speed. Muchness. Spending more time down the straight. Wow, over braking, Andrew, you lose half a second. Okay, I was a bit more aggressive on the exit of that, and I gained a ton of time. So if I can do that while not screw up the entrance. Again, that's my driving, not the car. This is all about the car. Faster. $128.79. So we've established that the sound is not so brilliant. $128.79. Okay, that's as fast as I could have gone on the laps I did. No. Oh, actually, wait a minute. Let's listen to the replay. So it's got a bit of a sound to it. Okay. Yeah, it's got a sound, which, if you think about it, makes sense, because whatever road equipment you've got has to, how can I put it? Has to, oh, it's interesting. It was a sports exhaust that I had. Ah, there you go. Semi-racing. Sorry, I was on the wrong thing there. For some reason, I ended up on the exhaust manifold. If you're driving or riding on the road, there's legislation for noise, as there is on racing circuits, actually, but obviously more stringent on the road. So if you've got a normal exhaust, they want it dead quiet. Racing exhaust, as long as it's within the parameters of the law, so it can be a bit louder, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be proper fruity. So we've gone now from so we've got normal, sports, semi-racing, racing. We did normal, we've just done sports, now we're on semi-racing. Oh, hold on. Let me just check something. I want to see what the power increase is. It's gone to 257 compared with... Oh, same power. Alright, so if anyone was thinking that... No, hold on. Let me just do a measure. Right, the power output is identical. Alright, to go from sports exhaust... Oh, it's lying. What the hell? Right, sports exhaust. So from normal it's 242, it goes up to 252 with the sports. Semi-racing, it adds another 5, 257. Okay, hold on. No, sorry. Not having this. I've just been sent a message by Ant, Pagan Ant. David Coulthard, who I really like. I was a big fan of when he was a driver, and I enjoy. I think he's a good commentator. He says it how it is, and he knows his stuff. Has just said, and I'm sorry, everybody. This may be very disappointing. Tank slapper. No. 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 It's not a tank slapper, mate. It's not. Oh. Now this sounds quite nice. It's a bit more raspy, but not in an unpleasant fashion. Can you hear that? With 5 horsepower, it's not going to make much difference on the lap time. I'm pretty sure about that. Because it's not 5 Newton meters of torque or kilograms feet distance, stupid thing. So you'll get a slightly higher top speed, but you won't get any extra. Well, I do like this. You won't get any more drive out of a corner. You'll get top speed at the end of any given straight. Oh, it sounds good in the tunnel. That sounds a lot better than the sports exhaust. Oh! Nasty braking, Andrew. Bit of drifting from the rear end. I don't know how this is going to make the time any better, but it sounds nice. 1:21.842, pretty much identical time. So 5 horsepower does not make any difference, and it sounds a lot nicer. No, no, that's my driving. So, Pagan Ant's in the chat. I've already shared this because I saw your WhatsApp doodah. DC said tank slapper. But then, give me a second while I'm. The interesting thing is, I put my foot down in this car and it does not understeer as much as I thought it would do. Now, I have experienced a difference in understeer with different front wheel drive cars, you know. Astras, Cavaliers, Novas, a bunch of those, Maestro, Montego, Saab 9000s, gorgeous cars. God, it likes doing that. On that last bit of corner, it really likes doing that. Get off there! Honestly, he's just doing me head in. Still doing it, still doing it. It doesn't matter what speed it's doing, it doesn't matter what's going on, it likes the back end to go. Which is why I was being crap about that now. You can get a tab for drifting at the back end route. I can't. So understeer's there. That peed me off. That sort of back end drifting thing is peeing me off. You mean tablet, don't you? A tablet for the drifting in the back end, yeah. Imodium. Powder. No, not for this back end drifting. hitting me off now. Let's try again. I mean, that's not how car... So Hugh's saying it drives more like a real car. It does, but it ain't got it right yet. Because if you're in a front wheel drive car and you plant the throttle anywhere and it's able to accelerate, it's got the power going down, the back end will not be going, right? End of. It will be pulling you out of that corner. Especially on a bloody banking. Okay, so that's not increased. That's 129, for God's sake, come on. Wow, it actually handled the back end going. But this is probably part of their, oh, the back end needs to go on all the cars if you're going fast thing, right? Which is, again, all to do with money. Because they get you to need credits, and as part of the needing credits, you do microtransactions. That's how it works. It's how a lot of these games work. They make millions out of these things. I used to I used to play a game called Instant War with Ant, actually. And they've got the Wallet Warriors, pay to win. There was one in particular, ex-army. He was a sort of a incapable, lower level warrant officer who thought he was this kind of like, I don't know, he thought he was Montgomery or Rommel or something. He was an idiot. Yeah, I'm bored flashing now. Okay. So that's that one. 121, 250, 245. Best time I could have done was a 128.15. Let's see how that compares with what else I've done. No, go away. Okay, so there's two times of a very similar level. 121.714, 121, 245. 245 was the last one I just did, wasn't it? So it gave me a tiny advantage over the last one. Tiny advantage. So if you're going to get 10 or less horsepower out of something, be considering whether that's worth it. Silencer racing. Can you remember, Mr. Vines, what the sound was on that last exhaust? That was a bit more fruity, wasn't it? It was okay.
Yeah. It actually sounded pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. Now, I didn't buy that before. I went straight to the racing one, and I was kind of disappointed because I'd bought the intermediate one in another car, the Mazda MX-5, and was really pleased with it. And this again, for anyone out there thinks that, you know, big exhaust makes something sound nice, and it doesn't. Remember, things are never as simple as you think. Big exhaust, it sounds good. I mean, one of the front-wheel drive cars I had many years ago was a Volkswagen Passat. This was technically a Mark II, same body shape as the Mark I, which is kind of the same body shape as the Audi 80 or the Audi Quattro, you know, the rally driving coupe thing. If you imagine making it like a hatchback or a saloon out of that. Audi 80, Audi 90, same basic shape and engine choice. So it would make an amazing hatchback, but like a four-wheel drive 220 horsepower monster turbo version, if you ever wanted to take that and transplant some bits from an Audi into a Volkswagen. Great car, 1.8 GT, low profile for the day. 15-inch wheels. Are they 15 or 14? Can't remember. I think it's 15-inch. Slightly wider 195s instead of 175s. Loved that car. Really, really, really good car. And this little tiny gear stick, sort of raised up. It's like a little chung 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 gear stick. Really good. Now that car, sounded fine. Really smooth. It's the same 1.8 engine that you get in a Golf, right? Smooth carburetor-fed engine, 90 horsepower. You could rev the nuts off of it if you wanted to, but you know, like 6,000, 6,100 maximum. The exhaust was going, and a young lad, a little bit like me talking to you now, he was kind of your age, he was learning how to drive, and we drove down the A470, the famous A470 that I keep going on about, and the exhaust was going. He goes, "Oh, Andy, it sounds so sporty," and I said, "No, Simon," that was his name. "No, Simon, it sounds broke." Because all it had was a hole in the exhaust. Yeah. And therefore, because the back pressure was all wrong, it developed less power. No more. And that's what you got to understand. Something Gordon Murray. Do you know who Gordon Murray is? Mm-hmm. Really? Oh, okay. Tell the world who Gordon Murray is. Go on. Who?
Isn't he the person you were talking to me about with is it the T33? Gordon Murray?
Yes. Again, you impress me so much. So.
Really nice.
Oh. He also
Very clever car.
Oh. Well, the T33 is a new one, and it's all sold out. There was a thing on YouTube saying it's all sold out. It's going to be debuted
2 years before production, and it's all sold out.
Oh no, I didn't know that. I didn't know it's 2 years before production.
Yeah, I think they're saying they were gonna do it in 24. Mm-hmm. So they're going to go out.
The T50 is its predecessor, and that is in the same sort of vein as a McLaren F1, which was incidentally also designed by Gordon Murray. So the McLaren F1 is a Gordon Murray car. The McLaren Mercedes SLR is a Gordon Murray car, though he hated it because it was a real compromise. Because Mercedes wanted something, and what they wanted was a big fat luxury limousine that was super fast. The thing is, that's what they got, because Gordon Murray is an effing genius. So it is so heavy compared with... It's not heavy in the big picture, okay? In the world of cars, it's not heavy. But in the world of 200 plus mile an hour cars, it's a tank. In the world of Gordon Murray, it's an asteroid. Mm-hmm. Because the McLaren F1 was like 1,300 kilos, but it has a massively powerful V12 in the back, which was a good 120 horsepower more powerful than any other engine on the planet in a production car at that time. So, now we look back at 627 horsepower and go, pfft. But the previously most powerful car was the XA220 at 550 horsepower. And the previously most powerful one was like 500 horsepower. You know, it was a street and a mountain ahead of anything else. And it's a BMW engine. It was pretty damn good. But even then, Gordon Murray understood that if you sat in a car, the max power generation, which isn't you, I'll give you that, bless you, because max power came out in the 90s. The max power generation, and when I was younger, there were the sort of what you would call the boy racers. They think putting a big exhaust on something makes it sound good, when all it does is make it sound loud. So if you get the Spice Girls and turn up the volume, it's still going to be shit. You get Pavarotti, or dare I say, Oh no, what's that band I like? Oh, who is it? Can't remember what they're called.
No, I can't remember either.
No, I better not take too little time, because I would be rushing. Thank you. Okay. You turn Rush up, and I've heard Rush very loud. I mean, I'm very loud. Many thousands of amps, watts loud. The Manchester Even News Arena and also the LG Arena in Birmingham. And they sound amazing. You get Anna Kendrick singing, because the girl can sing, type it into YouTube, and there's whole videos of the evolution of Anna Kendrick singing from the age of 15, and the girl can sing. As you make that girl sing loud, she's Anna Kendrick filling your senses rather than Anna Kendrick grating on every bone in your body. So you get something like a Vauxhall Astra, which sounds shite, and put a big exhaust on it. You get less power, more noise, but it's awful.
Still shite.
Oh, like on a level.
It's not worse.
It is worse because you can't hear it before, and that's fine. So, you know, people need to get understanding of these things. Gordon Murray had an even finer and more, I don't want to say intelligent, because intelligence doesn't mean anything. Intelligence doesn't mean knowledge or wisdom, okay? It's not the same. Gordon Murray has a real subtle understanding of these things. You're sat in a car, what's the noise you actually hear in the car? And for example, they've got the latest, like, all the latest fast cars, like the Porsche 996 and... No, 996. What's it called now? It's a 992 now, the latest one. It's like the 992 Turbo S and all this. Super cars, capable, like, ridiculously powerful, so quick, amazing gearboxes, computers doing everything for you. And you sat in the car and all you hear is this. At low revs. So 6 in the morning, you're trying to leave your house and not disturb everyone else in the Cotswolds. And your wife kills you when you get home. Yeah, 6 a.m. I asked you for a lie-in. Yeah, but I didn't wake you up. Yeah, you did. You switched your bloody car on. And they have these valves in the exhausts, and a lot of them, they start on shake your floorboards. But you're in the car, all you hear is... It's not for you. So you spend £200,000 on a car you can't hear. How does that work? Now, Gordon Murray understands the noise you hear is the induction noise. It's the air rushing into that engine. So, the McLaren F1, literally the McLaren F1, you hear it outside, it sounds, it's nice, it's whoa, all this kind of stuff. Great. In the car, it sounds incredible. And the Gordon Murray Automotive T50, which is the one with the 3 seats and the same engine, the wonderful Cosworth 3.9 litre V12 that he's got. I recommend people to type in Gordon Murray Automotive T50.
Wasn't the T50 a one-off? Isn't that like a one-off?
No. Well, they're all one-offs, mate, in the sense of they're making 100 of each of these cars. No, the T50 is the one, perhaps the one you're thinking of. The T50 is the one that's got the same seating layout as the McLaren F1, and it's the fan car.
Yeah.
Not quite as pretty as you might like, but incredibly capable. And if you type in GMA and subscribe to them, which I suggest you do, they've got Dario Franchitti, which is David Coulthard and Paul di Resta's cousin, and also a multiple Indy 500 winner, really decent racer. He's not bad. In multiple IndyCar winner, championship we're talking, not one race. And No, he's a good racer, and he's a good guy. I actually quite like the guy, you know. I mean, he looks Italian, but he's Scottish. You know, there's a lot of Italian Scots, there's a lot of Italian Welsh. If anyone ever goes to Tenby and looks at the ice cream shops, they'll realise a lot of people post-war from Italy settled in Britain. My hometown. I grew up with a massive number of Italians. Post-war immigrants, you know, they came, they left Italy after all the crap, and they came to Britain. And that's how it is. So you've got, I mean, DC's cousins to a bunch of these people. So Darren Franchitti, Paul Di Resta, all these people. There's a reason why they've got Italian names, and it isn't because they just thought, that sounds cool. It's because their parents are Italian, or the grandparents are Italian, right? But they're all just fantastic racing drivers. I mean, really good. So Darren Franchitti is kind of like the face of Gordon Murray Automotive test driving. Mm-hmm. The T50, there's a series of videos. I would say watch them if you want, because like listening to me talking, you'd be looking at a screen and going, What? Honestly, have a look, watch them, see what you think. What you really need to do is to start, and I suggest everyone on the planet that loves cars subscribes to Harry's Garage.
Yes.
Find Harry Metcalf talking to Gordon Murray at the launch of the GMA T50, and you'll get an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes of Nerdville Central. Harry's the first guy. Evo magazine, which he started, was the replacement for Car magazine. When they ruined, earlier on I said about they managed to ruin Car magazine. They did. They ruined Car magazine because new Top Gear came along, and they made new Top Gear magazine, and every Car magazine and every... Before Top Gear came along, there was a Channel 4 program called Driven, and Driven was very popular. It only lasted a couple of 3 years. It's where Mike Brewer, you know, that idiot from the one that screwed... Yeah, Wheelie is the one that screwed over what's his face.
Yeah.
Dingy. God, Ed China. That he was on there, and he was one of the three presenters, and there was Mike Brewer, there was an Irish guy, and there was the wonderful, the fantastic, the other example of anyone that ever thinks that I may or may not be sexist, that's only because I've been accused of it, but it's, I mean, come on, Penny Mallory. Penny Mallory was one of the top rally drivers in Britain, and she's a girl. But my God, she could drive. And what happened is the Irish guy whose name I can never remember, with his glasses, that was on Driven, and he was very successful, the format, everything was very successful. They, Top Gear TV show. Now, you know when people say original Top Gear? First I want to look at them, and it depends what age there are. If they're like not 50, or if they're 40, it's kind of like, I'm like, if they're that age, I don't punch them. If they're of a certain age, I grab them by the throat and I go, yeah, let me, when you say original Top Gear, are you a twat? Or are you someone that knows anything? Just asking for a friend. By the way, I'll rip your throat out if you get the answer wrong. Just asking. Because original Top Gear started like in 1979, 1980, something like that. Angela Rippon, the newsreader, was the original. I mean, you had Noel Edmonds from Swap Shop, and you people don't even know what Swap Shop is. No, he was a radio DJ from Radio 1 that started a TV show. It was like the original. There was Swap Shop, there was Tiz Was. My sister liked Swap Shop. I liked Tiz Was. Or was it the other way around? I can't remember. She's a twat. And whatever it is. And it was a proper half-an-hour programme. It was like Tomorrow's World, which was also an amazing science technology programme on a Thursday evening. So you had Top of the Pops, Tomorrow's World, and Top Gear. And these were three programmes, okay? Top of the Pops, Tomorrow's World were on BBC One, Top Gear was on BBC Two, and you found out about cars, bikes, trucks, motor. It was a motoring magazine for the TV. Clarkson, Tiffany Dell, and Quentin Wilson then came in, and they ended up being these kind of superstar presenters. And that was the problem. It became more about the presenter and less about the cars. I don't want to watch any programme that's about a presenter. Ever. The only presenter of anything I ever want to watch is Anna Kendrick. Maybe Tina Fey, who's basically a sort of a brown-eyed, taller version of Anna Kendrick who can't sing as well. But he's really good at writing comedy stuff. And I'm my age, so age appropriate. You know what I'm saying? Then it all fell apart because apparently the world didn't want that anymore. They took the Irish guy and put him on Top Gear to try and turn it into Driven. And they replaced him with Jason Plato. And we've all heard of him. He's quite a successful touring car driver. He's still racing. I don't know.
We'll have a look.
The problem is I don't watch terrestrial television, so even RTV4, as good as their coverage of that is, I don't watch. So, Plato's a fairly good driver, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Penny Mallory used to pee all over him. The girl. It was wonderful to watch. Plus, she's really hot. In my eyes. You know, she's like my age, so whatever.
Oh, apparently there's a fourth Honda team joining this year.
In what?
In British touring car.
Oh, okay. Another set of Civics? Civic Coupes?
Probably, yeah.
Because Matt Thingy was in... wasn't he in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Matt Neal.
Mm-hmm. Plato's best enemy.
Mm-hmm. So it's quite funny because Plato obviously came back last year. Matt Neal.
Oh, he came back, did he?
Off.
I didn't know.
Yeah, he took some time out.
Okay, they both did then.
I'm not sure why.
Well, Matt Neal was actually doing quite well, wasn't he?
Yeah. Shedden came back as well.
Did he leave? Gordon Shedden was awesome. Gordon Shedden didn't drop off. That's what I don't understand. He was awesome.
He was brilliant to watch.
Yeah.
Birkington's still there. Ash Sutton, he's going as well quite well.
Well, Sutton, I really liked Sutton because wasn't Sutton Plato's teammate? And Sutton was winning races while Plato couldn't even end up 18th.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's probably why Plato left. And frankly, what I would have done... but let me ask you a question, okay? I don't know about... I've heard the phrase, the sort of the thing that you have to be a little bit arrogant to believe that you're good enough to win.
What,
you know, they're always talking about any racing at all. It's F1 is the arena I was watching when it was said, but this idea that said, oh, he's so arrogant and so full of himself, and DC was being told he was too much of a gentleman and too humble, and if he was more arrogant, he would believe he could win. And I kind of understand that because for Hamilton, Max, and all these people and Senna to pump people out the way, they've got to believe that they deserve something. And I've had a bit of a thought about this. We were commentary. Yeah. I had a little bit of a thing where to believe people want to listen to this moron. I was told off by a very good friend of both of ours. God, how can I put it? I don't want to say who it is because this isn't a negative or a positive to this person whatsoever. Someone both of us know, someone that's been very kind to me, and I have an enormous respect for, absolutely huge respect for. It's sort of like this idea of not. He didn't say this exactly, but it was this kind of idea of not depreciating myself. Yeah. So, for example, I go on about how I've had a tiny bit of trauma, and there's some issues I've got to deal with in my life. I don't know, at 5 o'clock in the morning when I'm nagging you've noticed that. Even at 18, you're not stupid. But, and then when I get a little bit drinky, it all comes out. So, I don't want it to come out and all that kind of stuff, but there are things going on in my life, just like there are in everybody's life. I'm just maybe not so good at hiding it, and I get wonderful people who are beautifully trying to look after me, and all of you are younger than me, all of you, including Hugh, telling me, don't say this stuff. And it's like, well, yeah, but the problem is one of my characteristics as a human being is I hate falsehood. I don't want to pretend this and pretend that. On the flip side of that, I also understand that not everybody sees it that way. That not everybody sees me as being vulnerable. You know, you're constantly told as a bloke you've got to be vulnerable. But the thing is when you're vulnerable as a bloke, they keep telling you to stop being vulnerable because you look a twat. Pick one. You know, it's like the BBC saying men keep committing suicide, which is a big issue for me, a huge issue.
Yeah.
Plebs know this. Plebs know this because I had a massive thing about this, and you know, Phil and all that kind of stuff. They understand because they've been through this crap as well. You know, I've spent my life being told that I'm too sensitive and too soft and too this and too that, and then when you and then when you try to kill yourself, and they say you need to learn how to talk to people. Show your vulnerability.
Which one is it?
And then it's like, yeah, what actually needs to happen is that all of you need to fuck off and die. Just as a start, I think that would probably help the human race. Just, you know, on an average. Then people need to stop talking shite, and the BBC needs to be defunded immediately, because we've spent 30 years being told how crap men are, and how men need to look after their kids more, and how men need to be this and men need to be that, and there were no stop stereotyping. And then when a man comes, and then when they can't hide the fact that 80% of all suicides are male, and this is, I thought it was just the West, but it's actually worldwide. And then they say, as they did a few years ago on the BBC, they couldn't hide it anymore. It was such a big thing they couldn't even hide it anymore. And they go, men need to learn how to talk. And there's adverts all over the BBC. This is why I ditched the license, came off of television, and I watch Netflix and Amazon and YouTube.
Yeah.
That's literally what I do now. I'm totally legal, completely legal. I don't need to pay them if I don't watch them. Yeah. Pick one. I was abused for years by my wife. Seriously abused. Not physically, though she was physically capable of it. She's only 5 foot tall, but she was as strong as hell. And and if anyone knows anything about weightlifting, as I do, because I have done it, you got short opinions. You get you know, it's very difficult. Have you ever noticed that if you go to look at Olympic weightlifting, they're all tiny people, short, because it's levers, you know. Plus the fact, and I was watching a brilliant video. Normally I apologise for going on like this, but not on this subject. No.
Yeah.
I was watching Anne Widdecombe interview somebody about the issues to do with men. Matt! Hey, Matt's in the chat. Matt, join us, buddy. Join us to invite you to the Chit Chat Chit. I'll let Christian do it because he's eating crisps.
Yeah. I was eating biscuits.
Whatever. Crunch, packet, crunch. See, biscuits are sweet. Crisps are nice and savoury. Anyway. See, I forgot what I was saying. God.
What's her name?
Anne Widdecombe. Right, Anne Widdecombe. Now, I'm not a huge, massive fan of Anne Widdecombe particularly, but I do admire... She doesn't stick to a narrative. That's what I admire about her. I don't agree with everything she said, and I've seen her on... I'm a particular... I think we had a little chat about this the other day. I'm a low sugar, low carb, high fat guy, you know, keto, that kind of stuff. and you and I had a little bit tiny talk, because that's kind of your subject, isn't it? That's what you're learning, isn't it? The training and all that kind of stuff, and that's great. I love that. I love the fact that you're learning that kind of stuff. I would only encourage you to sort of make sure that you've got a broad understanding of it, rather than just accepting the narrative, which is pretty much paid for by companies that make a lot of money off on the shit. So, but don't believe me. Whatever the hell you do, don't just believe me. Critical thinking, learning, Damo! Oh, man! Damo's here! Hello, buddy! Thank you so much for joining us. Wow, we're getting all popular this time of night. So, I was watching Anne Widdecombe, and she was on this TV show which was like a low sugar camp and all this kind of stuff. It was brilliant. You had Peter Davidson, that I know originally from All Creatures Great and Small, the James Herriot show, and then he became Doctor Who and all this kind of stuff. He's a great actor. He's a really good guy, and he had all sorts of problems, and he ended up being quite ill, stopping sugar because he was a big sugar addict. You had that Brummy presenter, massive fat black woman, who morning television, she's huge. Oh right, it's just come from a lobby. Scott in Hull. Awesome, man, awesome. Been looking at your times on GT7 and like, yeah, man. I don't think you're allowed to downplay your ability now anymore. Sorry, but if people can take the piss out of how slow I am, which is fine, as long as they're not personal on it, I'm going to take the piss out of how fast you are now. Personally, I would like people to take the piss out of how fast I am. It's just like, just saying. Damo, great racer, really good racer. At the age of 65, he's changed over the last year from being quick to being much, much quicker. I mean, the progression is everything. Anyway, back to the subject. So Anne Widdecombe, there's this fantastic scene where Anne Widdecombe, who's totally, she's so completely entrenched in her views, and she's so typical of that kind of person, at the time, especially, as I thought. So they're trying to talk it out of using margarine, and it's a big thing, okay? Margarine, which comes straight out of a chemical plant. I'm a chemist. It comes straight out of a chemical, literally. From its inception, and it doesn't matter what else they put in it, it comes out of a chemical plant. We were never meant to eat that shit. And she's there going, I will never, ever in my life. Oh, margarine's healthy. Sometimes she was having a proper go, which is proper Anne Widdecombe. A proper Anne Widdecombe. So, there she is. And there's these two green